Today I have my first man on the podcast, Brad.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about the story of how me and Brad met because it has been wild, really. We have so many mutual friends, but really it was last summer. I was home in Essex for the summer and I was bumping into you and your partner Mercedes
It was like every
everywhere.
day at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like go for it. Every time I was going on a walk with my mum, I was like walking into town. I remember seeing you outside the police station. It was like
hmm
the weirdest places. You were
I'll
always
be
there.
sitting, chilling, having a coffee. Look over, I'm like, oh, seven, right?
Yeah.
Literally, it happened like 3 days in a row.
And I remember even the first time I saw you, like, because we'd never really spoken before, it
No.
was like a hi, like follow each other on Instagram
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I was like, the universe is obviously trying to bring us together for a reason. And then from then onwards, we were like connecting online, realized that we were very spiritual people, both of us. We were like chatting about past lives and
Yeah.
sending voice messages and realized that we have a very similar mission in this life, and one of the things being want to raise the consciousness
Mm.
of the planet, or like support the raising of consciousness, and really want to bring community together. So even when I was in New Zealand, we were like on the phone, on FaceTime, again when we'd never even hung out in real
Yeah.
life together
Yeah.
before. Like, let's plan these events, brainstorming.
hmm
And then I've been back here for, we were just chatting about this, 2 months in England. And this weekend is our third community event that we're
Yeah.
holding.
We've done a lot really in a short space of time, but it has just been natural, I think. Like from, like I say, not actually having a relationship of knowing each other that well to literally going like, all right, we're on the same page. What can we do to help or like feel like we're living our purpose? And it just kind of went natural from there, didn't it? I think.
Definitely. I think community is something that's so needed, but like so many people don't have, where you're surrounded by people who are inspiring you, supporting you, helping you to grow, like holding you through challenging times. And I think as well, I want to talk to having different sex friendships because I
hmm
think so many people don't have that.
It's a
It's
taboo subject.
it
Like definitely,
is.
if people aren't that comfortable with it originally, because I think we've been conditioned and grown up to be like, okay, you have your partner that may be different sex, but then friends outside of that is a bit of like, oh, okay, what's the intention, stuff like that. Whereas I feel like we need to almost like normalize just being with everyone and seeing the best in anyone. Do you know what I mean? And then judging that as like face value, like you're my friend. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man, and then just treating everyone like flatline. That's how I see it anyway. But it definitely is, I'd say, work in progress in where people are in terms of how they perceive it.
Definitely. And that's why I think these community events are so amazing because they're events where you can come no matter what your gender is, hang out with different people. And like you said, it's the intention. The
Yeah,
intention there is just to make friends. Obviously, if you like someone, you want to invite them out on a date, like there's no
yeah,
problem. But
that's
like
a separate thing,
it
isn't it?
is. But it's like, oh, we're just actually coming there to have like good conversation, chat about life, talk about all these different topics. And there's such an age range of people as well, with 24 to like people in their 50s.
Mm.
And everyone's welcome and we can connect
Yeah.
with everyone.
It's a cliche word, but it is the vibe, ain't it? I think because like it's a nice space what we've managed to create where like you can be in a chilled environment and speak to someone that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have a conversation with, and then yeah, have a great conversation and come away from that with different insights and things you can take from that, like going forward with your own life. So I
Mm-hmm.
think just for that reason, that is why I think for me the community events have been so successful for me and you, like personally, because we've been able to create that environment where like you can bring different people in and they're having these level conversations where there's no judgment, where there's no like ego involved. You're just generally there to be like, oh, that's cool. What are you about? What do you do? And then I've definitely come away with things from that and been like, okay, I can apply that to whatever I want to do, you know?
It is the safe space that you can just show up and like know that you can just be your true version of yourself and you're going to be accepted and like celebrated for who you are. And then I think having that spaciousness to be able to like, play around with ideas because so often we
Yeah.
are busy, we're on our phones or distracted and doing other things. So having a time where you are just like switched off from the world and
hmm
present in real life is amazing. And the
Yeah.
ripple effect has been magic, hasn't it? After our
Yeah.
very first event, you then created a men's
I started a walking club.
walking club
Yeah.
after a conversation with my brother,
Yeah.
which was so cool,
Yeah.
which you've already started
Yeah.
and you're doing them like monthly.
hmm
Follow Brad if you want the details.
Yeah.
And then, so this is going to be in Malden as well, isn't it?
Yes, well, like Danbury originally,
Yeah.
like monthly walks, and then I'm hoping to do a few times a year some bigger ones like maybe do a few mountain hikes and stuff like that. But to be honest, the start is just, yeah, monthly walk. It's only probably going to be like an hour's walking. But again, it's just a space where you can come, drop everything, so you're not on your phone, you ain't thinking about work and stuff like that, and you can just catch up on a level where you're like, what's been going on? You know, you can have that chat. Whereas like previously, I might have had that chat in the pub, and then it's loud, there's distractions, you can't actually end up having a good chat. So I was like, yeah, again, I spoke to your brother, and he said about how men like are very good at talking about things whilst they're doing something else. So, for example, if I'm sitting with a guy here like just now, we might not want to talk as deep. But if you're walking or if you're playing golf, suddenly your mind is on something else, and you just chat, and then again we come away and feel a lot lighter, and just yeah, it's just nice. It's just a nice thing to do. Like you're obviously walking, getting your steps in nature. It's a lovely forest where we go to, so the views are good, and it's a nice place for me to catch up with people that I can't see all the time as well. So yeah, if anyone's interested, follow me on Instagram and give me a DM, and yeah, we'll get it sorted, get you down there.
Love it. And I think we need more of these men's spaces. I think we've got a lot of the women's spaces, which is amazing. We need more men's stuff. And then I'm loving that we've got like the mixed spaces now as well. And then another ripple effect from our community event was that one of the women started one of her own workshops, which I'm so excited for. And then I'm not going to say it's like definitely from this, but my mum started her own meditation class as well weekly. And it was like a donation event, which I feel like it was inspired from ours
Well,
because it was after. Because our community events have been like a full day, well, half day pretty much,
Yeah.
but very like chill vibes. I would say a mixture between like barbecue style, potluck, bring a dish, and then also semi-structured where we're
Yeah.
doing meditation, conversation starters, and you're
Mm.
doing a dance piece, like dancing around the fire
Yeah.
and doing some rituals.
Getting people out of your comfort zone a little bit, I say, just
Yeah.
like in a nice way. But mostly I'd say it is like just pockets of nice chats and like that barbecue feel, isn't it? I think where people are just literally like catching up with each other, and then we'll throw in a few little workshop bits almost to like
Yeah.
give you some tools to take away with. That's how I see it.
I think everyone leaves feeling inspired and definitely connected to themselves and to other people. And yeah, it's a dish and donation vibe, which again, I haven't really seen many
Yeah.
places do, because I think there can be so many barriers between people coming to these types of event where they're like either don't have the money to pay for it. And we really wanted to like remove all that as well and be
Yeah.
like, this is about building community. And obviously it was for other people, but also it was for us. I was
Mm.
like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And this is what I
Definitely,
need for
yeah.
when I come back to England.
Yeah. But I was thinking like if I'm going to throw an event, it has to be a something that I would actually attend myself.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, for me, going somewhere where it's like-minded people, everyone's pretty chill. You can have good chats and going to get some food and like do a bit of meditation stuff like that. That's right up my street. So I was like, okay, that's the direction we're going to go for.
Yeah, and we had some people that have come to the events that have never been to anything like this before, more into like obviously drinking, and even the
Yeah.
people who are semi-nervous for it, like loved it.
I think everyone will come to the event and be a little bit nervous, a bit apprehensive, but I think that's the whole point of it. I think the more like well I'm realizing anyway, the more you can sort of lean into coming out of your comfort zone and do something that you wouldn't normally do. Like to be honest, the event for me is a new experience. It's me pushing myself to be like, all right, let me try this and see what I can get from it. So I think if you can come along and be willing to take yourself out of your comfort zone, I think you're only going to get amazing benefits from it. And then suddenly you'll go around in life. There'll be things that crop up where normally you might be like feeling a certain way, nervous, anxious, but because you've been in these situations, you're going to now handle it differently. I know for me, definitely, public speaking is a big one for me.
Definitely.
Before it was like a taboo thing for me. I was like in my head about it, like really, really overthought things. Whereas just by putting myself in these uncomfortable situations, like with you and stuff like this, now I get excited for like the challenge. If that was like even this, like doing a podcast, like this. Before I would never have done it. Like I would have just been like, "Oh, it's a bit weird. Like, I'm not really feeling it, but I'm actually excited to do it, and I feel like if a few people can watch it and take something from it, that makes me feel good. So it's like, yeah, knock on effect, isn't it?
Definitely. The ripple effect is just huge. I'd love to hear like how did you get into spirituality in the first place?
How long you got? I think I've always been a deep thinker. I'll say that. And then COVID was a big one, really, because it was the first time I'd actually stopped and had time to do nothing. You know, before I was the king of distracting myself. So it would be partying obviously music's a big part of my life, so it's not really a distraction, but that takes up a lot of my time. Um, and it's only when I really realised I couldn't be in my own company. Like I always had to find something to do, and I was like, all right, that's a potential stumbling block. That's what are you running from, what are you hiding from. So then I started learning about meditating and stuff like that. And once I tried it and I felt better for it, I was like, well, let's just see. There's a bit of a rebel inside me where it's like, well, fuck it. Well, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. The rebel in me would just be like, all right, if that's worked, I'm trying everything.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's off limits because I know even my mates will see me do certain stuff, and they'll just be like, oh, Paddy's got moving like mad at the minute, like he's just doing all sorts, and I'm aware of that as well. But what people don't understand is obviously the journey. Like it's a journey, so like they just see you doing this silly stuff, but they don't see you not being able to spend time on your own and wake up and be like, I don't know why I'm a bit like sad. Like nothing's wrong. I've got a good partner. Things in life are good, but I just don't feel happy, content. So that I went not chasing that, but I went looking for that in terms of like, all right, sit still a minute, think like what's on your mind, meditate, and then that started improving. So then now I'm like, well, sky's the limit, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's worked for me, now I'm going to be willing to try other things, like all right, host your own event, and obviously look to do things like the walking club and stuff like that. I'm just anything that I can try is yeah, it's not off limits.
Definitely. We need the foundations
Yeah,
first before we try and push ourselves out of the comfort zone,
yeah,
really. Well, we can, but like
yeah.
if we're feeling our nervous system's regulated, it's so much easier to do it. So it's
Hmm.
like, how can we do these things? And different things work for different people. But I would say meditation is one that I would like recommend to absolutely
Yeah, I think
everyone.
if you've got a busy mind like me, where I've got like 1,000 tabs open at once, and that's really helpful for me in some aspects. Like with my music, I can be super creative with it. Like it's not a problem for me creating, but switching it off used to be I didn't have control on that. So just having that knowledge to be like, all right, training, like do some meditation, see how you feel, and I felt better. I was like, all right, yeah, maybe there's more into this, like the whole spirituality movement and stuff like that, which I can take from. So I'd still class myself as being at the beginning of my journey, but I actually think that helps me because I'm fairly relatable then to other people that are just starting, and like I can give people, if people want advice, like I can give them advice on what's helped me on the way. Um, so yeah, I'm
We're all
enjoying it.
just trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
I feel
we're
like
all faking it a little bit, I'd say.
yeah, we're all on the journey, like trying to get through and have fun with it too.
Mm,
But I think these conversations are so important because I think there's so many people that are thinking these things like, oh, I'm not that happy. Like life on paper, like it seems good, but I don't feel it.
hmm.
But a lot of the time we think we're alone and we don't realize that other people are going through it. And this is the power of these conversations and stuff like community
Hmm.
because you hear other people going through similar stuff and you're like, oh wow, it's not just me. And then, oh, this is what I've tried. Oh, this worked for me. And like a lot of the time, even just talking about it, you get like an exhale and you're like, oh, I feel better now.
100%. Yeah, I think for me, I remember a specific point in my life where I was like so fed up of just feeling this like used to call it grey days because
Mm.
like there'd be nothing wrong, but I was so depressed. All I wanted to do was just like run away from everything, distract myself, go drink, party, whatever. Like cool, but really, you always come back to that point, and I got so annoyed with like coming back there. I was like, well, I'll make promise to myself now that I'm going to try whatever it takes to just be more at peace with myself. So I think you have to get to that point where you're willing to do it for yourself rather than other people around you, because in the end you're going to have to do things which no one else maybe understands at the time because you're trying to help yourself, and then once you're in a place of like you'll feel better and stuff like that, then you can advise. But yeah, I think that was probably for me was like the turning point for me where I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of bored of just because I've always chased the fun. That's something I've always done. But it gets to a point where you keep chasing the fun, and then it's like, like really, you're wasting quite a lot of time here, just like feeling not 100 or content is probably the better word because you don't have to feel 100 all the time. Just being content with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like we can always have fun, but it's like, is your fun self-sabotaging
yeah,
you or is your fun like supporting you? Because I think when we're having fun, that raises our vibration, helps us attract what we like and like follow where we're meant to go. We can sometimes hear our intuition more, but then there's the type of fun if it's like partying, drinking, like a bit more like
comes the cost is
self-destructive.
too much.
The cost is too
The
much.
cost is way too much. You're burning the candle because what you realize over time is when you start investing in yourself and your mindfulness and your wellness or whatever, your fun suddenly changes because I can
Yeah.
still go and do the things I used to do. I can still go to rave, but now I don't have to drink. I
Yeah.
don't have to take drugs. I don't have to be in that environment, and I actually enjoy it more because I'm still in the moment. I still like the music. I can drive myself home. I'm in a comfy car. I can stop and get food on the way home. I wake up. I go for a walk next morning. So there's like a ripple effect of looking after yourself, which becomes the fun that you want to follow. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think drinking less is a big thing that supports a lot. I think a lot of like people go through like,
Mm.
oh, actually, I don't necessarily need to do this. And it's not that you have to cut it out, but I do feel like it is like a
Yeah.
common theme that supports
To,
people.
to be fair, the past life was the thing that kicked me up the bum with
Okay.
the drinking.
Yeah.
That was wicked for that.
How
Yeah.
is that linked?
So what? How was it linked in terms of?
The past life, learning about the past life, and then
Right.
drinking.
Okay. So basically, when I'm on my journey and like Merck said to me, my partner said to me, what do you want for your birthday this year? And I'd been like checking out and I'm really interested in stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I've heard you can do stuff called past life therapy. I'm like really interested. Maybe get me that as a present. So yeah, so she got me that. Went down and basically you're just in a meditative state and you're getting spoken like going through and you're looking at a row of doors, for example, and each door is a different life. It's got different years and stuff. But anyway, so the main purpose of the past life is to sort of relive certain experiences that you've had in the past life, and then obviously at the end of that life you assess what you could have done better, what you learned from it. And so basically in three of my lives, on the first session I went back to, I had a problem with alcohol. And I always run away from my family in each different thing. So there was a fear, there was like a trend there of like drinking too much, running away from your problems, whatever. And so when I was playing back the voice recording, because she records it and you write down what I was saying, like what you could learn, everyone was like, my lessons from that life was like, you didn't need to drink as much, you were fine before the drink, it changed you. And at the time, I kind of didn't really think I wouldn't say a problem with drink, but I just relied on it as an everyday thing, every opportunity of
And it
fun.
was the norm for
Yeah.
most people.
So when I read that, I was like, oh, that's actually took me back a little bit. Like maybe these grey days that I'm talking about, maybe these gaps that I need filling in my life could be resolved with some small things like that. So that was like a big light bulb in my mind to be like, all right, let's try it. And I think from then I took like 6 to 7 months without touching anything, no drink, and I just felt so good for it. I felt so like empowered. Like, I felt like I had the control to say no. So now I do have a drink, but I have so much control. Like for example, I went on holiday recently with my mate Rick. I ain't seen him in a long time. He works abroad, so yeah, I had a few beers, and I always know my limit now to be like, all right, I've enjoyed that. I'm gonna leave it alone. Whereas before,
It's intentional.
I'll be
Yeah.
drinking till the lights come on, and then it's the next morning with breakfast. Like it was just there was no get up. So for me now, it's nice to feeling like I'm in control. And yeah, if I want to have a few drinks and enjoy myself, that's fine. But also, I know that I can say no and I can be happy. And I think yeah, the past life was the thing that really just like yeah got me thinking about that. Without that, I definitely wouldn't have considered it. No way.
Yeah, love it. And I feel like everyone deep down knows what their next step is that they need to take or one thing that they want to improve. And it doesn't
Mm,
actually have to be like big things either.
no.
It can just be like, what's one small step? And
Yeah.
I'm always preaching this like 1% better, like how can I
Yeah.
do things 1%? Because that actually has a ripple effect. Because I think there's some people out there who are probably like, oh, I know that like drinking less would be good for me. If you think you want to cut it completely out, but at the moment you're drinking 8 pints every
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday, it's probably going to be a bit unrealistic just to go like cold turkey. Although you could do it, but why don't you just try and drink a few less and take that as a win
Yeah.
as well?
100%. I do agree. Yeah, you got to be ready to face it yourself. You can't just like half it. I got to a point where I was like, I really want a better life. So you get to that point, and then because at the start it is tough. Like you're going out, and people are used to you being a certain guy, being you in a certain space, and you're going to feel uncomfortable in them environments without a drink in your hand or a beer in your hand. But once you get through the first few nights and you've said no 4 or 5 times to people asking for drinks, you get home and you feel proud of yourself and you think, actually, yeah, I feel I can do this. And then that keeps you spurred on. And I mean, to be honest, like people around you, the people that are your true friends, they'll stay.
Yeah.
And then the people that were just there for the good times with you, which is fine, like you served a purpose, but they will fade away. So yeah, because before I was like, oh, that's kind of my character, you know. I'm a party guy. I'm in the music industry, like DJ and that, so it's like it fits really well. If I stop drinking, is that gonna mean I can't do it? And actually, after my favorite time to DJ is no drinks, and even still now, it would be like I'll always be sober to DJ because I just enjoy it more.
Yeah.
So you got to get through that first bit where everything feels rubbish and uncomfortable, and you feel like you're losing out on plans and you're getting the mick taken out of you by your mates or whatever. If you truly want something better for yourself and you think that's an area where you can improve, just get through the first month, I would say. Just the month, 4 weeks or 4 weekends of just, you can still go out. Obviously, there's zero drinks now, there's whatever, do you know what I mean? And I always think if you're going to do something, give yourself in your mind a treat
Hmm.
like that you like, that's like a healthy treat. Like for me, for example, the incentive for me for not drinking and going out, I would always buy food on the way home while I was
Yeah.
driving home and really enjoy that because it's like, well done. You've like obviously
You've
I know the
done.
food ain't healthy, but it's like yeah, it's like life doesn't have to be everything's bad just because you want to cut something out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, such a good incentive to be able to do it. And I think this has obviously been a big part of your journey. And I found it as well, is when you do change, like some people are going to have opinions on that, or
Hmm.
like, I think there's one part is that we worry that people will perceive us differently. That's
Mm,
probably more what I experienced when I was not drinking like as much anymore. And like
yeah.
I'd go out for dinner with people and they're like, aren't you gonna have a drink? And I'd be worried what they were gonna think if I said no, when
Hmm.
they probably weren't even gonna care. But then
Yeah.
also there are people who do care and they will be pushy.
Yeah.
But it's like, how can I just stand up for myself
Yeah.
anyway and like speak my voice and be like, no,
Hmm.
I don't want
Yeah.
to.
I think people are always gonna probably see the change because there is a visible change, and it's hard for people to understand because all they're seeing is the physical results. One day you're someone, the next day you've changed, but what they don't see is the days when you're not feeling good, when
Hmm.
you're on your own and you're like, life ain't life in that well at the minute,
Yeah.
like so. I don't expect people to understand the why always. That's why I always say you've got to do it for yourself. You've got to be willing like, because I know some of my content that I might put out, people have a certain opinion on it, but I don't do it for others now. I do it for me because
Yeah.
when I'm at home and I'm about to go to bed and my mind's clear and I'm happy, but that's
People's
it. Yeah,
reactions are not our problem. We
yeah,
can
yeah.
only control ourselves, and
Hmm.
then how people respond is to do with them. And yeah, this is like way more than just drinking as well. Like I think we both live like a bit more unconventional lifestyles, and I know that people see me and think, oh yeah, your life looks so fun and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, it is all good now. But I went through all the cringe stages at the start where I was
Hmm.
like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm posting all this weird stuff online,
Battle your own
and
mind.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And people still don't see like all of the struggles that I still go through
yeah,
now, the day to day, like
yeah.
apart from my like close friends and community and stuff. And to be fair, I do post it online as well, and I'm struggling. But yeah, and you kind of have to be okay with like going against the norm sometimes. Like it's always comes back to how can I listen to like, my intuition and my inner voice and focus on that rather than doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, it's the noise, isn't it? Because especially if you're like, for me, I'm like have traits of being a people pleaser and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So like the thought of people not liking you anymore, or the thought of people going, "Oh, he's changed, he's gone all weird now," whatever, that does play on your mind. But when you have the two and you're weighing up a decision to make, I always back now for me.
yeah.
It's like, well, I know people get or might see it a certain way, but listen, I'm on my own journey. I'm getting to where I need to be able to go and do what I need to do, whatever, So that's like a secondary thing now, which is nice.
Yeah. And then when we are being our authentic self and following what's right for us, we attract people who are
Mm.
meant for us and the people like us. Like we gain new connections,
Hmm.
like our relationship
Yeah.
and other people because these people are like drawn to us. So yeah, just know that the right people for you will find you. I'd love you to share about your upcoming dance event as well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So another new sort of what we call it?
Venture.
Yeah, business venture, I guess. So for me, I've always been music, music, music my whole life. Like I know whatever I do in life, it will evolve around music. I'm aware of that. But as I'm getting more into my meditation and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, will it be cool to try and cross the two together? So the plan is we're going to launch our first event. I won't put a date on it yet, just because
Watch this space.
there's a few things to do, but it ain't going to be long. And the business is going to be called Dancing Souls, And so the idea behind the business is we're going to get everyone in a nice chilled environment, nice space. We're going to start with maybe some meditation, just get everyone leveled off, and then it's just basically going to be a mixture of stretching, and then releasing through movement, like releasing trauma through music. But it's going to be to either me DJing or my playlist. So I'm still having my input of like my selections, and yeah, there's loads of places I can sort of take it with different genres and ideally, what I would love to do eventually is have a space where people come in, we do our meditation, the lights go off, and then I just DJ. In my eyes, that's the perfect class.
Yes.
So that's what I would hopefully build towards. And then off the back of that, who knows, maybe a club night and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm thinking start something really small and community based, and something I'm passionate about, my meditation and my music, and then yeah, let the universe do the rest, see where it ends up. But
Yeah.
yeah, watch this space for Dancing Souls. If you haven't followed me already, jump on my Instagram, and yeah, I'm sure I'll be posting. But yeah,
Yes, I absolutely love hearing people following their passions and sharing their gifts with the world, and people need it. Like the ripple effects are always flowing. And Brad's been giving a bit of your like dancing souls in our community
little
events as well.
snippets, yeah,
And people have been loving it. Like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to like create these events so that I can come. So
It's
yeah,
been cool. We've been dancing around the fire, haven't we?
we
Just
have.
been going, yeah, which is funny. Which is funny because, like, again, like when people see like the videos of what we're up to at the event, they're like, "What are you up to? Dancing around the fire?" I'm like, well, I know it looks like quite la la right there, but there's actually logic to it. So if you just come and be a part of it, you understand like there is method to it, and you feel better for it. You know.
And I just want to say this to end this. If you're seeing these events online and you're like, oh, I'm really interested in these, do not be scared to reach out and have a conversation because I know there's so many people thinking about it, but there's potentially a barrier to booking on. And know that we're both like so approachable with like, come and message if you've got any concerns or any thoughts, and know that you're so welcome. If you're thinking about come in and you want to be there, we want you there.
Yeah.
So
Challenge yourself. Set yourself a little challenge. Be like, this feels a bit weird for me. It feels like I'm out of depth, but I'm just going to do it. And then go and then make your mind up after you've been to the first one. That's how I think, anyway.
agreed.
And you never know how much you enjoy it.
Well, I've loved this. Thank you for
Yeah, it's been
joining.
cool.
I'd love, do you have any final words of wisdom that you would like to share?
Words of wisdom. I'll just say whatever comes to the top of my
Yeah.
head and go with that. So words of wisdom I am getting is for me and for everyone, I would say is just be true to yourself. Don't think you've got to play a certain character that everyone knows you as. Like you are who you are. You're good enough as you are. And don't be scared to explore different avenues to find out who you are. Don't feel like you should be trapped in like in a certain space or oh I'm known as this guy or this girl. Just try new things and really explore because you'll enjoy it along the way. And you'll meet cool people along the way. So there really ain't much to lose with it. So that would be my final piece. Yeah.
Love it.